noses have millions more scent receptors. For example, a human nose averages 5 million, while a Dachshund's nose has 125 million, making dogs useful for sniffing out drugs, dead bodies, bed bugs, explosives, and other things dogs can smell that humans can't. Their ears are pretty impressive too. Dogs' sense of smell might be pretty amazing, but don't forget about their hearing. Everything from the positioning of their ears to the muscles in them helps dogs pick up a whole host of sounds that humans can't hear. In fact, the most popular explanation for why dogs tilt their heads is that they're trying to locate the source of a sound. But their sense of taste is much less developed. Dogs have approximately 1/6 of the taste buds humans have. This is why dogs will scarf rotting food scraps as ferociously as they'll eat a bowl of kibble or a hunk of steak. Their less discriminatory sense of taste also has to do with their evolutionary instincts carried over from when they would scavenge in the wild. No two dog noses are the same. A dog's nose is the equivalent of a human fingerprint, with each having a unique pattern of ridges and creases. Dogs dream like people. If you've ever noticed your pooch twitching in their sleep, this probably means they're dreaming. Researchers found that dogs have similar sleep patterns and brain activity as humans. Technology today suggests they're probably imagining familiar activities like playing outside or chasing their tail. Dogs are as smart as a 2-year-old child. According to canine researcher and author Stanley Coren, your toddler and pup are about on par when it comes to brains. He also explained that man's best friend can count, understand more than 150 words, and even trick people or other dogs to get treats. Intelligence also varies based on breed. Border collies are the smartest dog breed. Dogs only mate twice a year. Unspayed females only go into heat twice a year. So dog breeders need to plan carefully. Tail wagging has its own language. If your dog excitedly wags its tail, it means it's happy to see you, right? Not necessarily. According to Discovery.com, dogs wag their tails to the right when they're happy and to the left when they're frightened. Wagging low means they're insecure, and rapid tail wagging accompanied by tense muscles or dilated pupils can signal aggression. Puppies are born blind and deaf. Newborn dogs are still developing, so their ear canals and eyes are still closed. Most puppies open their eyes and respond to noises after about 2 weeks. Dogs have a sixth sense. In a 2010 poll, 67% of pet owners whining, erratic behavior, or trying to hide in a safe place. There are even reports that dogs can sense illnesses like cancer. Dogs only have sweat glands in their paws. Even though they sweat out through the pads of their paws, their main form of cooling down is panting. Your dog's feet might smell like corn. Some pet owners might notice the faint scent of corn chips or popcorn lingering around their dog. This is called Frito feet, and it happens when sweat and bacteria build up in the paws. Dog breath is actually unhealthy. You might expect your dog's mouth to smell like dog, but persistent bad breath can actually be a sign of dental disease or other health problems. If you don't already, have your dog's teeth examined by a vet every year. Dogs get jealous. You're not imagining it if you think your dog is acting jealous when you give other dogs attention. It might not be exactly how we experience jealousy, but research has shown that it's similar to how an infant might get jealous. This dog jealousy is something dog groomers experience when they come home to their own dogs. Don't get so tough. it's often made worse, not better, by the fact that the mail carrier comes repeatedly. Dogs figure out approximately when the mail carrier arrives and then get riled up and antsy beforehand. Your dog responds to your tone. Don't forget that dogs don't experience the full breadth of emotions humans do. So, if you're trying to train your dog, taking an angry tone and a very loud voice might just make them skittish. Your prosodic of speech, tone, rhythm, and the pitch of your voice are far more important than what you're actually saying. That's also a big part of the reason dogs respond positively to that high-pitched, cute pet speak. A dog's yawn is not quite the same as a human's yawn. When your dog lets out a big yawn, you probably just assume it means what it does when we yawn, that he's sleepy. And it certainly can be a sign of tiredness, but dogs yawn for other reasons as well. Dogs yawn to calm themselves down, so repeated yawns could be a sign that your pup is feeling anxious or stressed out. Dogs don't actually have it out for cats. Media portrayals of these furry frenemies would have you believe that chasing cats is hardwired in dogs' DNA. But it's not specific to cats. Dogs' evolutionary hunting instincts are the reason they chase after anything small. is why you need to take care while walking your dog on a hot day. Sticking out your hand isn't the best way to introduce yourself to a new dog. This is another of the fun facts about dogs that aren't quite true. You probably grew up believing that the old hold out your hand to an unfamiliar dog and let it smell you advice was gospel. And it can work, but you have to be careful how you do it. Just shoving your hand toward a strange dog's face can scare or alienate them. You're better off letting the dog approach you first and then offering your hand to the dog to smell, rather than assuming they want to and waving your hand under their nose. And approach the dog from the side rather than from straight on. If you must approach it yourself. Dog years vary a lot based on breed. Every dog year does not automatically equal 7 human years, as one of the most well-known fun facts about dogs would have you believe. The saying came from observations that average medium-sized dogs tended to live around 1/7 as long as their owners. However, dogs come in all shapes and sizes, and what's average for a Great Dane is very different from what's average for a Chihuahua. Paying attention to the life stages of dogs and how they correspond to each breed will give you a much better picture of how old your dog actually is than equating 1 human year to 7 dog years. Trying to be dominant over your dog is not the best approach. Despite enjoying considerable popularity for many years, You should never try to dominate your dog. The idea that you need to show your dog who's alpha with methods such as eating before your dog, making sure you're always in a higher position than them, or punitive behavior is outdated and ineffective. Of course, you need to set a routine and make sure your dog understands rules and boundaries, but avoid traditional advice about displays of dominance. Those dog kisses don't mean what you think. You might think a lick to the face is your dog's way of giving you a kiss, and sometimes it is. Dogs lick as a way to bond in the way that a mother dog may lick her newborn pups. But when a dog is born, its instinct is to lick its mother's face as a signal for the mom to regurgitate food for the puppy to eat. So that may play a role too. Dogs sniff butts to learn about each other. If the dog facts about dog kisses haven't convinced you that dogs and humans use different forms of communication, the fact that butt sniffing is a common dog greeting surely will. A dog's unique smell is secreted in its glands, and yes, those scent glands are located in their backsides. A dog's rear end is home to glands that produce pheromones, which contain information about everything from the sex of the dog to its health and diet. Thanks to dogs' incredible sense of smell, they can learn all sorts of information about one another just from the nuances of the odor. Petting dogs can lower your blood pressure. You can find all sorts of research and fun facts about dogs and the health benefits of having one. And this factoid is true. Petting a puppy can cause your blood pressure to drop around 10%. to forecast their daily activities, such as walks and meals, as long as they occur around the same time each day. Obesity is dogs' number one health problem. Just like obesity is a health concern in humans, it's also a major concern for dogs. More than half of the dogs in the United States are overweight, a number that has been continually on the rise for years because of too many calories, too little exercise, and consuming the food scraps of humans. The oldest dog lived to be 29, recorded in the Guinness Book of World Records. The oldest dog ever was an Australian cattle dog named Bluey. He lived to be 29 years and 5 months old from the years 1910 to 1939. So that is all for today. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful